Jamaica recorded 45 new cases of COVID-19 and 2 deaths from the virus yesterday, bringing the country's confirmed cases to 48,639 and the total number of fatalities to 951. The 2 latest victims of the virus are an 80-year-old woman from Clarendon and a 95-year-old woman from St. Anne. The Ministry of Health and Wellness also reported 1 coincidental death. The new virus cases consist of 25 females and 20 males with ages ranging from 5 years old to 92 years old. Majority of the new cases were recorded in St. Catherine, where 20 new infections were recorded. Manchester accounted for 6 cases. There were 4 each in St. Elizabeth and the Kingston and St. Andrew region, 3 in Clarendon and 2 in Portland. St. Anne, St. James, St. Mary, St. Thomas, Trelawney and Westmoreland each had 1 case. The ministry said 137 patients recovered from the virus, pushing the total virus recoveries to 25,622. There are 21,688 active cases of the virus on the island. The Ministry of Health and Wellness says it is set to resume its vaccination blitz exercise this weekend as it ramps up efforts to deliver the 2nd dose of the COVID-19 vaccine to hundreds of Jamaicans. Director of Family Health Services in the Health Ministry, Dr. Mello Tv says more than 600 Jamaicans will receive their 2nd dose this Saturday at the National Arena. Jamaica is expected to begin receiving its first shipment of 1.5 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine in August. Dr. Ennis says the ministry does not intend to pause vaccinations as the country awaits the arrival of the Johnson & Johnson doses, and that the ministry expects to maintain its March 2022 target for achieving herd immunity.
We're not expecting to pause because we continue to put our feelers out to source the vaccines, and we are hearing some favorable rumblings, so I don't believe we're going to have to pause, but we're taking it one step at a time and putting everything in place to be able to accept the vaccines once they are made available to us. I would so hope that we could bring it forward, wouldn't you? Because that would mean we would be able to review our operations and, at this time. But we still have to look at the logistics of getting the vaccine into arms. So let's take it one step at a time. If we overshoot and exceed that target, then very good. But let's keep it at March.
Health officials are hoping to vaccinate some 1.9 million Jamaicans by March next year. Meanwhile, as more Jamaicans become fully vaccinated, Dr. Ennis is warning persons not to rush to abandon the anti-COVID-19 protocols, as the country still has a long way to go.
The direction, instruction, the directive, we must continue to maintain those protocols. We've got to wear the masks properly, covering the nose and mouth, physical distance, and of course, hand wash. We must do that because enough of us in the country have not been immunized as yet, and you can still transmit the virus. So just hold on a little bit longer, just hold strain, we soon get there, but for now, you've got to maintain those protocols.
As Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced yesterday evening of the changes to the curfew hours, he stressed that it is critical that all Jamaicans remain cautious and diligent in observing the protocols to prevent the spread of the virus.
Madam Speaker, we must therefore take a gradual and measured approach to relaxation of these measures, or rather recrafting of these measures. It is critical that all Jamaicans remain cautious and diligent in observing the protocols, wearing masks, physical distancing, and sanitizing. We have now experienced 2 spikes in Jamaica. We know the behaviors and the complacencies that result in spikes. Let us not repeat the mistakes of the past. Let us view the recrafting of the measures not as a license for free-for-all, but as an opportunity to safely pursue our livelihoods and other activities that enhance our spiritual and mental health needs. Let us exercise personal responsibility to prevent a third wave that will force us to tighten the measures once again.
Over 155,600 Jamaicans have so far received a first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, while more than 22,206 have received their second dose. The Prime Minister pointed out that he will be meeting with the stakeholders in the entertainment industry to discuss the way forward.
Madam Speaker, the government is cognizant of the devastating impact that the pandemic has had on the entertainment industry and the large number of persons who depend on the industry for their livelihoods. We are engaged in discussions with the industry with a view to agreeing the appropriate protocols that could facilitate a limited reopening of the industry in the summer.
In other news, residents of the Ramsbury district in Clarendon blocked sections of the roadway yesterday in protest of bad road conditions in the area. Here is Javon Thomas with more on this story.
Emergency personnel had to be called in to clear a railway as well as a roadway in Ramsbury district in Clarendon. Residents mounted the roadblocks early yesterday morning to protest the poor state of roads in the community. Some residents used large pieces of concrete and trees to block the road and railway, while other persons held up placards with their appeals for better roads. Motorists say the potholes in the roads are damaging their vehicles.
I was at the meeting, and Jamal could take full responsibility not to come patch no road, or to draw a line, or draw a circle on a line. It's to fix the road.
You see the road where Jamal could fix from 1 mile up and 1 mile down, insufficient. That's their responsibility. We need, no, not really, Sir Jamal.
Government, man.
Yeah, so come and fix this one piece and Jamalco holding. We now hold Jamalco responsible for government business. So we need road for all the client, because you know what, me feel it. Me spend my money every 2-3 months, me have to fix car front and everything. It have to change. We have the worst road in Jamaica, which Clarendon, Jamaica. We have the strongest constituency in a Jamaica politics. And this is not about politics, but the road that we have, all we ask for in Gravelhill and Southwest is decent road. That's it. We not beg no politician nothing.
Not all.
We not ask the government for nothing. And again, I'm going to say it. It's unfair to hold the new young MP responsible for 50 years worth of problem, because it has been here for over 50 years. But whatever it takes and whatever we have to do, it have to change. It must change.
Me hear some people that about it affect them pocket. It's when you take off your clothes at night, it affect your whole entire body. After you take off your clothes, your body feel it at night time. Stupid name. We need a road like right now, no. Like right now. Jungle people, we need a road, no. When we want the road, no.
Meanwhile, efforts to clear the debris from the roadway were hampered after the emergency crew's equipment broke down while they were cutting up the trees in the road. Senior Community Relations Officer for Jamalco, Philip Biggs, who expressed that he empathized with the residents, also pointed out that he could not give a definite timeline when the roadway will be fixed.
I understand the frustration of the people. Jamalco understand the frustration. But remember this, I indicated earlier that the road is National Works Agency road. So we have to ensure that whatever plans we have, National Works Agency sign off on the plans. We did give a deadline of the end of May. And I'm the first one to apologize to you on behalf of the company for not meeting the deadline. But when I came and saw the police, I said, allow good sense to prevail. But they have a responsibility also to clear the road. Right? I would have loved to come here this morning and to give you a timeline. I can't. But I will take back. And let me tell you something. We in Corporate Services Department, we're not surprised by what is happening here today. But the other department at work. So my final talk is to appeal to you. You have made the point. You have made the point. And I am going to suggest that the team that we have been meeting with, we meet with them again as early as possible. I know where the residents are concerned, enough is enough.
Things also got tense during the protest as residents shouted verbal abuse at the police and other first responders for clearing the roadblocks. However, the police tried to explain to the residents that they only had a right to protest peacefully.
Well, understanding the concern, the road, the situation, we as the police cannot allow you to block the main thoroughfare in and out of the community. People living there, one guy work, one guy listen, General. Talk yourself. There are other persons that want to use this road here. And as such, we can't allow you to block. You can peaceful protest. At the same time, we can't allow you to block the main road.
The roads were eventually cleared. We'll bring you more on this story in subsequent newscasts. I'm Javon Thomas reporting for Mello TV News.
Residents of Rock in Trelawney are calling on the government to rebuild the Martha Brae River that connects the community to the town of Falmouth as a means to regain the area's economic recovery. Business owner of Nerby's Fish Place, Herbert Mott, and his nephew explained how this has affected the business.
Herbert Mott is the name. I'm a businessman of Rock. I run a fish place, Rock Herbie's Fish Place. And ever since this bridge closed, and it's a disaster since that. I mean, everything goes down deep. I mean, deep, can't find no bottom.
Everybody around that case.
We can't get no answer from nobody. We keep several of meeting. Why the bridge closed? We talk to the mayor, we talk to the MP. We invite numerous people to find out what caused the bridge to close. There's nothing going on. And it's like Rock becomes one of the most desolated places. We used to be one of the most booming places in Trelawney. I only hope that this interview or whatever this is, it doesn't go unturned. Somebody look out, do something for the bridge, open back the place, let us start our life again. I mean, all the people in Rock is like, it's like a ghost town. Nothing going on.
Since the bridge closed, all of the business in the neighborhood take a nosedive. Not much things going on. Like my uncle have a fish joint in the back there. Normally, it would like on Friday night, it would be like a lot of cars and a lot of business. But now, it's just like 2 or 3 cars on a Friday. So he can't even pay like his light bill or water bill. So everything in the neighborhood, like for instance, the hardware right there, not much business for the hardware either. The bars, the restaurant, most of the restaurants have to close.
Affect we a lot, because when the road block off, most taxi man, I say, boy, if you road long way around, so then you can't carry over Rock with the load, and you have to pay this, you have to pay that. So it's kind of hard, you know? So if you just use the bicycle and go and do little things same way.
Other residents said that transportation in and out of the community has been greatly affected, which contributed to the loss of income for the community.
I live in Rock all my life. It's problem you drive, you have to go on the highway and cross the highway to go off to Falmouth. And if you have load, you have to come around and you have to pay like $200 when you used to pay $100.
My name is Noise from Refuge. It affects me very badly most of the time.
Because going around the other section over to Mortar Bray there, come out at the intersection there, it's hard to get over there. It affects me very badly. So I'm coming from there right now as you speak.
The thing is, you see, it was a serious connecting link between Falmouth and Rock. And to sever the connection and cause people to go on the highway not only costs more money for the people, but also the inconvenience. And yes, it's sorely needed to be put back in position. I think so. Well, I've lived here for nearly 26 years, and this is like a little watering hole for me. It's put a dent in the community down here in general, and if we can get it back open, it will be a good thing. You get passing more traffic. A lot of businesses suffered through it. Small business, maybe the gas station, due to bus, etc. Don't gas up there again. They gas somewhere else. Yeah, it's kind of put a dent in the place. You know what I mean?
And one Juta operator who goes by the name Marlon explained how this has affected how he transports tourists to the community.
I normally sell a tour that would incorporate Falmouth and the historic nature of Falmouth. Then, I would bring them along here. But since then I have to go all the way around. Before then I would just come into Falmouth, do my tour in Falmouth, and then over the bridge straight into Rock. Now I have to go all the way around. Now, especially if it's on a Wednesday, where you have the Bendong market, where you basically have a bottleneck because it's basically one way into Falmouth from this way. So it is more challenging. I burn more fuel and it takes more time. So that's how it affects me personally. As for the community on a whole, in terms of those who don't drive, we don't have to traverse in and out of Falmouth. They have to go all the way across the highway, to get a ride into Falmouth. Especially for the older people, it's more challenging. The COVID-19 has softened the impact somewhat, because we don't have that much kids going into school. So for them, they don't have to go on the highways now to get drive to and fro from school. But what is going to happen when school is reopened and, everything is reopened basically, and with the traffic, the volume of traffic that we're expecting after this, both in Falmouth and on the highway, that could be a hazardous, situation for the children.
2 men who were shot and killed along Rousseau Crescent off Maxfield Avenue yesterday evening are yet to be identified. Following the shooting that reportedly took place shortly after 5 p.m. yesterday, a high police presence was in the area. The shooting reportedly took place sometime after 5, and we will have more details in subsequent newscast. Director of the Meteorological Service Branch, Met Service, Evan Thompson, says the entity is ready and prepared to keep Jamaicans informed during the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season, which is expected to be active. Mr. Thompson, who was speaking at the National Disaster Risk Management Council's virtual meeting yesterday to mark the start of the hurricane season, noted that the forecast is for 13 to 20 tropical storms to develop, of which 6 to 10 could become hurricanes, with 3 to 5 developing into major hurricanes of category 3, 4, or 5.
A normal season now sees 14 named storms, 7 of them becoming hurricanes and 3 of them becoming major hurricanes. In 2020, as I mentioned before, we had much more than the norm, in that we had 30 storms, 13 hurricanes, and 6 of them becoming major hurricanes. For the 2021 season, we could have anywhere between our best case scenario and our worst case scenario. In the best case, we are expecting to see at least 13. We expect to see about 13 tropical storms, of these 6 becoming hurricanes and 3 of them being major hurricanes. But the worst case, what we are seeing now, which of course could be adjusted as we move to the center or the middle of the hurricane season, this worst case is saying we could actually have 20 tropical storms. We could have 10 of these becoming hurricanes, And of these 10, 5 of these could be major hurricanes. If you take a look at that bar chart to the right and then look to the left where the normal season is, we can see that what we are expecting is a season that is significantly more active than a normal season. So these are no longer normal times.
Mr. Thompson also explained the country's vulnerability to tropical cyclones over the next 6 months.
Jamaica's vulnerability, based on the climatology for tropical cyclone development and motion, Jamaica in the northwestern Caribbean Sea remains vulnerable to activity from tropical cyclones in 6 months of the hurricane season. The hurricane season is for 6 months, which means that throughout every month, there is a level of vulnerability that Jamaica has being in the northwestern Caribbean. In June, the systems are likely to develop in the Western Caribbean or in the Gulf of Mexico. So Jamaica is in that general area. In July, we're likely to see more of the development in the central and eastern part of the Caribbean, also in the Gulf of Mexico and along the eastern seaboard of the United States. All of these also push Jamaica or leave Jamaica within the path of some of the movement of these systems. As we move through August and September, we are likely to see more of the development over the tropical Atlantic, but the general trend of movement takes them into the Caribbean through areas that could also impact Jamaica, into the Gulf of Mexico or over to the extreme northwestern Atlantic. Then as we go into October, again, the development starts to occur more in the west once again, the Western Caribbean or the Gulf of Mexico, movement expected toward the north, which we have seen in recent years as well. And so Jamaica is also in a very vulnerable position. As we move to November, the systems also develop in the Western Caribbean. We have seen some of that in recent years as well, and the movement is usually toward the north, putting Jamaica once again in the path of the movement of these cyclones.
He informed that the Met Service will be conducting a simulation exercise within the first 15 days of the hurricane season as part of preparedness measures. And those are some of the stories making news. We will return with other stories, with a total of 18,055 names being added to the National Voters List published on May 31. But first, let's take a break and then join Christopher Scott with sports.